today's topic is to how we can do performance tuning while we are working with React components. Okay, there are certain ways. I will discuss those things, and we will start from JavaScript itself because React is just a library of JavaScript. So we have to understand things from JavaScript first, and then we will move towards the thing that we have in React.
So, hello and welcome everyone. Hope you're keeping well and staying safe. This is Hafsa Anjum, and I am working as a community executive at Recro, wherein we are working towards building an exclusive community for developers to help you get connected with like-minded people, build a network, and grow professionally. And those who don't know about what Recro is, it is a developer-focused organization helping developers to meet the right opportunity by connecting them with fast-growing startups such as CureFit, Udaan, Swiggy, Dunzo, etc. So, welcome to Recro Talks again. And today, the topic of the discussion is the React components performance using use memos and callbacks. Our guest speaker for today is Mayank Pandey. He's a senior associate at Cognizant. He's a problem solver and having a 9+ years of experience in web development and on different tech stack, including JavaScript and React.js. He loves to share knowledge with others. He's an active member on Stack Overflow community and on top first position at Noida location and under top 500 in overall India. And a quick fun fact about Mayank is he's also a part of a Rebase community and he's also one of the active member over there. So you can just connect with him on Discord. You can ask him and get to know him personally and ask challenges and any help that you want in Discord. So please do join Discord. I'm going to drop the link in the chat on both LinkedIn and Zoom. So make sure that you join the Discord. Yeah. Mayank, I think you can go ahead and say hi to the audience.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, guys, before we get started, I would like to make some announcements. Please post the questions in the question section for the people who are joining us on Zoom and for the people who are joining us on LinkedIn and YouTube. Please do not shy away from posting your questions. I will check out the live chat from YouTube and LinkedIn, and I'll make sure your questions are answered. And we'll take up the questions in the last 15 minutes of the session. So stick with us at the end. We will also be rolling out the polls in between. So please do answer them. And I'll also roll out feedback form in between. So please let us know how do you like the session, what's something that you want us to improve on, and what's something that you loved about the session. And keep your notepad handy, and whatever you're learning from today's session, post it on your LinkedIn and tag me, Recro, and also Mayank, and we'll be good to go. Man, I think
Okay.
we can get started. Let me know if you're
Okay.
shared your presentation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if you guys can see my screen, and then we can start.
Yes. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So hello everyone, and the today's topic is to how we can do performance tuning while we are working with React components. Okay. There are certain ways. I will discuss those things, and we will start from JavaScript itself because React is just a library of JavaScript. So we have to understand things from JavaScript first, and then we will move towards the thing that we have in React. Okay. So first of all, what is memoization or caching? So first of all, we will understand what is memoization or we can say caching is. So basically, let's say I'm making a API call and I'm fetching kind of like 20 or 50 records, okay, on one go. And if I am storing those records somewhere locally in my browser or maybe somewhere inside local storage or something like this, and on next go, if I want to have the similar type of record, then instead of making the new API request, if I will have the data in my cache, maybe local storage or certain storage, then I will get the data from there itself. So this is kind of, we can say, memoization or we can say caching. So basically, caching is a mechanism by which we can store the data locally, and we will do these things in a manner so that we can get the regularly useful data inside that cache. Okay. So the what we get from memoization is we will get fast access of data, but yeah, it has their own some kind of downsides as well. So we will discuss things in first of all JavaScript, and then you will move toward React. Okay. So the definition of memoization is in programming. Memoization is an optimization technique that makes applications more efficient and hence faster. It does this by storing computation results in a cache and retrieving that same information from the cache the next time it's needed instead of computing it again. So basically, the whole concept is to store the data inside some local cache, and if on next go we required the same data, then instead of making an API call or getting the data from the actual source, we can get it locally and serve it. This is called memoization or caching. Okay. So how does this memoization work in JavaScript? So basically, there are two ways to handle memoization in JavaScript, and the first one is closure. Okay. So I think all of us who are working on JavaScript know closure, what the closure is. So if I will take a simple definition of closure is a function bundled together with its lexical scope is known as closure. Okay. So this is known as closure. Any function that bundles together with its lexical scope is known as closure. So this is a way, and there is another way that is higher order functions. So the functions that operate on other functions either by taking them as argument or by returning them, they are known as higher order functions. So basically, these are the two ways to maintain memoization or caching at client side. Okay. So uh, apart from like these are the techniques of JavaScript. Okay. And when it comes to React, we have certain hooks that provide the facility to maintain caching or maybe memoization in functional component. And we also had few things in class component as well. But as right now we are not using class component more, and the official React documentation also remove classes from their documentation. So I will just give you an overview of like how we can do these things in class as well. But I'm not taking these things in at code level. So if you are working with class component, there is a there are techniques known as first thing is pure component. So there is a concept known as pure component that is used to make kind of memoization in class component. And there is one more, I can say, function that is the different phases of React component we have in classes. So there is a function known as should component update that also provides you the similar type of functionality that these hooks are providing right now. So basically, what should component do is the default value of should component update is false. Okay. So in case of true, in case of true, it will whatever component we have, it will go in render cycle whenever there is a state or property change. Okay. But we can make that return false as conditional. We can do compare our next property or previous property, or we can do certain types of condition inside it, and then we can either return true or either return false. If I will return false from should component update, then that component will never go in re-render cycle and it will keep as it is. Okay. So in class component, we can do these things by handling either using pure component or by using should component update method of different phases we have. Like there is update phase. So in aside update phase, we have a method called should component update that is used to handle these things. As right now we are using sorry, functional components more. So I am taking these functional component in this slide, and I also have code. So we will discuss the similar things at code level as well. So basically we have uh, React memo, which is a higher order component. So what it is, if your component render the same result given the same properties, you can wrap it in a call to React.memo for performance booster. In some cases, by emerging the result. This means that React will skip rendering the component and reuse the last rendered result. Okay. So what is the meaning of this? So let me explain you. So let's say we have like a page in React application is a kind of collection of different components. Each and everything in React is a component. So let's say I have a page, and that page is having different components, and there is a component that is known as maybe left navbar or maybe top navbar. So as we all know, basically, like navbar have kind of static things, If we are on on a specific link, then anything will not change if we are doing something inside pages. Okay, so let's say we have a layout and there is a component known as nav bar, maybe left nav bar or maybe top nav bar. Okay, so whatever we have in that component, most of the time it will not get any updated properties when we are doing something inside the page component. Okay, so in such cases we can make those components like navbar component as memoirs component, because we know most of the time they will take similar type of properties inside it, and there is no advantage of sending dot component into reconciliation process, because reconciliation process is the heart of React, and it will take kind of resources or time to compare virtual DOM copies and to find out what needs to be done, what changes needs to be done on the UI side. So if I am sure there is a component that is not having updated state on every or properties on every render cycle, then in that case I can memoize it. Okay, and how I can memoize it? By wrapping that component inside React.memo. Okay, so what will happen in this case is, if it will take similar type of properties on any render cycle, then that specific component will not get into the render cycle, and those reconciliation process is not done for that specific component. So basically, let's say we have 100 components, and I know 20 of components in that page are having similar type of properties most of the time. So I can exclude those 20 components from sending them to reconciliation process, and that will make our process fast, because of these 20 components will exclude the process. So reconciliation process will not have to check these components. It has to done the process only for 80 components. So this will definitely improve our performance. Okay. So there is a hook known as React Memo, and there are few certain other hooks as well, that is use callback and use memo. So I think it's better we can check these things at code level. Okay. So first of all, I will show you an example of memoization, like how we can do certain type of memoization at our own level. Okay, and this is a like interview question if you are preparing for any front end interview at any level. So memoization on closures. These are the two most important topics that can be that asked in different interviews. So I'm going to show you a function that is calculating the factorial of any value that I will give. Okay. So basically, this example is a combination of a closure as well as we can say memoization. So you can consider this example while you are giving any interview to show to create this example, and you can tell them like this is an example of closure, as well as we are also doing memoization in this function together. So what is the idea behind this function is, we have a function that will calculate the factorial. Okay, and as I know, for a large number, factorial process will take resources to do the process and get the result. So what I am planning here is, I am making a closure to memorize the factorial value that we are calculating. Okay, and the concept is very like basic. What we are doing is, we have a object. Okay, and whenever I am getting a value inside a function to calculate the factorial, first of all, what I will do, I will check if that value is available in this object. Like if a key exists in that object for the value given value, then I will return the result from the object itself. I will not calculate the factorial. I will not do the processing. And if that result is not there in inside my object, then we will call the function and we will do the factorial and then return the result. Okay. So this is done in a fashion of like closure. I have a out, like there is a function outside function, and inside it there is a function that returns. So it's an example of closure, and this closure is maintaining its lexical scope, and in its lexical scope, this is result object is there. It will hold on the value of factorial. So let me show you how it will work. So I have called that function on different values. That is first of all, I have called this function on a value that is 2. Then again call this function on value 3, and then I have called the function again on value 4. Okay. And then I have again repeated the same value, and let's see what will happen. Okay. Let me open my screen and let me just, okay. So I am here. Please confirm anyone. Can you guys see my screen? I am showing my console on browser. Yes, okay, that's fine. Okay. So I have certain consoles over here. If you check the code, so I have a console inside the function. If I don't have that value in my result object, then we will do the actual calculation. Okay. If it is there, then we will not do the actual calculation. We will simply return the result. Okay. So let me show you my console. So for the first time, I have called this value for like I have called the function for two value. So yeah, result is calculated. Then I have called the function for another one value that is 3. This time also result is calculated. Then I have called the function for 4. And this time also the result is calculated and stored in the object. But after that, when I have again passed 2, the calculation is not done. I have again passed 3, the calculation is not done. I have again passed 4. The calculation is not done because we already have 2, 3, and 4 as key inside the object. That is, we already have certain memoized or we can say cached result inside the object. And when I am repeating those values, they are coming from cache itself. The actual calculation is not being called. Get it? Then I have passed on a new value that is 5. And as we know, 5 is not there before. So in that case, function has done the calculation for this new value that is 5. If after this 5, I will again call this function for 5 value, it will not do this. You can see for first 5, it has done the calculation and stored the result in the cache. But on next time when I have passed the similar the same value, no calculation has been done. The record has been written from the cached value that we have maintained inside our result object. Okay. So the funda is very simple. We have a function for factorial, and I'm storing the result inside an object, and this is done inside a closure. So still the function is written, but it is holding its lexical scope. Okay. So this is the best example of showing how we can do a kind of memoization or caching using closure. Okay. So this is also a very important topic as I have already told you for the interview purpose. So you can consider this specific example for showing closure as well as how we can implement a small kind of I can say memoization or caching. Okay. Whenever you are doing some type of caching or memoization, you always have to keep this in mind. Memoization also comes with a certain value. Like it also has its downsides, and downside is like let's say we have an object and we are continuously passing different values. So this object will grow in size whenever we are passing new values. So caching needs to be done only when we are having a requirement where we are getting so many we are getting so many requests to fetch the record. If we are having very low number of requests, then it's better to get the data from actual source itself. Okay, because caching also comes with a certain cost. Okay, so this is a basic example of how we can do caching in JavaScript. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. Will you guys please give a thumbs up if you understand this?
Yeah. Guys, if you're having any questions, let us know and please drop your questions in the chat and we will take the questions at the end of the 15 minutes. So please don't hold back on your questions.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, okay, I think this is clear to all. So let's proceed further and see React hooks, how we can use those hooks to maintain such type of caching at component level. Okay, so basically, I have certain like I can say certain components. this is just a basic React application. Okay, and I have not done so much code inside it. I have just a basic some kind of code so that I can simply explain you how these can be things handled by using React.memo, use callback, and use memo. Okay, so basically what I have is I have a app.js component and it has certain states in it. Okay, and then I have a different component that is navbar, and I have one more component that is calculate factorial. Okay, I just have three components, and I will show you this memoization techniques in these three components itself. Okay, so first of all, let me show you the screen where I want to show this thing. Okay, so just 1 second, guys. Okay, so I have this type of UI. Please Dear me, I haven't done any type of CSS in this because my main motto is to explain you these topics. CSS is not very important here. Okay, so what I have here is I have a app component. If you will see the structure, so I have an app component. Okay, and then we have two different components, and this navbar as well as this calculate factorial is child of this app. Okay, now let me open console because you will understand by using console here what I am trying to do. Okay, so let me open my console and let me refresh this app. So basically what is going on here is I have certain consoles and I will show you where I have put those consoles. So I have a console inside navbar component, and then I have a console inside my factorial component. So let me open all these components and discuss these things. Calculate factorial and then navbar. Okay, so let's start from navbar. So inside navbar, what I have is I basically have a console, and I have put this console because I just want to show you uh, how many times this component will render when I am doing certain types of side effects. Okay, in when I'm talking about side effects, so basically whenever I'm doing some state update, it is known as side effect in React. Okay, so I have certain console logs that will help you to understand uh, how many times this specific component is rendered when I'm doing certain side effects. Okay, so let's start from app.js. What I have done here is I have two states. There is one state that is flag. So I am not doing so many things. I am just doing to flip the flag value. Like I'm just toggling it to true to false, then false to true. Just that's it. Okay. And then I have a like count, which is whole initial its initial value is 1. And what I will do, I will just increase it. Okay, what I will do, I will just increase it on a certain event. Okay, so right now, whenever this component is loaded, there is a navbar rendered and there is a factorial call is going on. Okay, so if you can see this click me, what is doing is just changing this flag value. What is happening here is this click me is just changing this flag value, and you can see whenever I'm doing this, all of the child component are again re-rendered. Can you guys see this? Whenever I'm doing this, okay, so it is rendering child component again and again. Okay, so first of all, let me show you how we can hold on this by using React.memo. Okay, and then we will understand how we can use React, use callback and use memo. So first of all, what I have done is let me pick this navbar component. I have passed on this like count value from this from parent component, I have passed this property that is like count. And then I have also passed this handle set count. There is a function, okay, that I have passed here. So basically I am passing a property and I am also passing a callback function inside this. Let me hold on this for now and let me go to here. So on first time, what I am doing is I am just passing a property. No callback function is passed, just a property is passed to child component. Now let me open this navbar. Okay, so I have got this like count and there's a handle set count. I have initialized it with null because I want to show you something. Just consider it right now. I'm not passing this. I am only passing this click like count. Okay. Now you can see whenever I'm doing certain side effects, this navbar is rendered again and again, and I want to stop it because the value it is getting is like count. Okay, and you can see whenever I'm changing this flag, there is no change done in this like count. It is still one. So there is no purpose of sending this component inside rendering inside reconciliation process. So what I will do, I will simply wrap this component inside a react.memo. What I will do, I will simply wrap this component inside the react.memo and you will see the change. What you will see the change. First time it is rendered. Now you can see navbar is not rendering at all. You can see factorial is a different component, so please ignore it for now. Whenever I am changing another state which is not coming to navbar as a property, re-rendering is stopped. Okay, let me reopen it again. Let me show you what I have done here is. So it's a default simple component. It is rendered first time, and the property it is getting is not flagged. It is getting like count, and I am not updating like count on this click me. So what I am seeing is here is navbar is rendering again and again. So as I know the flag is not for navbar, so what I will do, I will simply wrap it inside a react.memo. Okay. Still, it will get like count, but this time, as it is getting like count as similar value, I am not doing any change on it. So the re-rendering, that means reconciliation process will exclude my navbar component. Can you guys see? Navbar is totally excluded from the reconciliation process because the property it is getting is similar and we can simply ignore it. So I have done a simple performance tuning on this navbar component by just wrapping it inside react.memo. So I think this is clear to you. Yeah, I am getting so many hands up. So yeah, okay. So if your function is only getting properties, then simply this react.memo will work. Okay, let me say it again. If your functions are only getting certain properties, then this react.memo will simply work. But there is a different case, and what that case is. So I am just commenting it out here, and I am opening this, and I want to show you something. So this time I am again calling my navbar component, and I am passing a value. Again, the similar value is passed, but this time I am also passing a callback function. Okay, I am also passing a callback function that will operate on this like count. Okay, and now you will see a different type of behavior. My component is still wrapped inside memo, but now this time you will see a different behavior. Let me show you. Everything is same. The only thing is right now I have passed a callback function also inside navbar. Okay. Now what you will see whenever I am doing update on flag, this navbar is again going in the reconciliation process. Okay. Still, this component is wrapped inside react.memo, but still it have ignored my memoization request and it is started going inside re-render cycle. Okay. So first of all, let me show you how you can handle this, and then I will let you know why this is happening and how we can handle it using a specific hook. Okay. So now go to navbar. I am not going to do anything here. Now go to app.js. So instead of passing this function, this time what I will do, I will pass a memoized function here. Okay. What I will do, instead of passing a simple, okay, let me show you one more time. So here, if you click on this count, so count are increasing. But what I want to show, I'm not doing anything count here. I'm just updating flag, and this navbar is going inside reconciliation process. I want to hold it because flag state is not passed to my navbar. Okay, so how this can be handled? So what I will do, instead of passing the normal function, what I will do, I will pass a memoized function this time. Okay, and let's see what will happen if we pass memoized function. You can see navbar is not going inside the reconciliation process and there is no console log for it. Please show me a thumbs up if you have just see this. Now I will explain you what is happening behind the scene. Okay. Now let me show you what is happening here. Let me revert my code. So what will happen whenever we are passing certain properties and callback inside a component? Okay. So if we are passing only properties, then just.memo will simply memoize it and return the memoized copy of that. But if that specific component is also having certain callbacks, so what will happen when reconciliation process is going on and it is checking if certain component is memoized or not? It will see if it will see there are callbacks passing on. Then, as you all know, functions are objects in JavaScript, and objects, if you like the reconciliation process is using shallow copy. So whenever we are comparing something with shallow copy and their objects, their reference are different. So what React understand is they have different value passing on each and every time whenever reconciliation process is calculating those changes. Okay, so that's why it consider it as the component is having a different value every time and it simply ignores the memorization process and it will again send that component inside the render cycle. Okay, now to hold on this, what we have to do, we have to make our callback as a memoized callback. What we have to do, we have to wrap our function, we have to wrap our function inside use callback. We have to wrap our function inside use callback. So what will happen if I will wrap my function inside use callback? So if I will wrap inside a function inside use callback, it will return a cached copy of that function. So in that case, now again, my component is having a property that is coming similar on every time when we are changing flag. And now as my function is also memoized, so in that case, React again ignore that component from sending in render cycle because this time component is memoized as well as its callback function is also memoized. So React simply ignores it whenever I am doing some side effect, but that state is not going through that specific component. Please show me a thumbs up if you guys get it. And if you guys have any query, then I will take it at the last. Okay, I have seen so many thumbs up, so I think most of you get the idea. But if you have any queries, I will definitely take it at the last. Okay, so we have covered what we have covered so far. We have covered what React.memo do. So basically, React.memo is an HOC. It will take entire component and memorize it, but it will only memorize the component. Like it will send the request to React to please memorize this component, but that request will only be accepted if your component is taking properties, only properties, not callback functions. But if I taking some callback functions as well, then those callback functions must be wrapped inside use callback. So what is use callback? Use callback is a hook that will take a function as a callback and it will return the memoized copy of that specific callback. Okay. And it also has a dependency. So right now I have no dependency, then it will send the same similar copy of function on every time. But if you want to get a new copy of a function on a certain specific dependency, then you can simply pass those dependencies just like you do inside use effect. This dependency hook, like dependency array, is a similar of use effect. If you will make it a blank, then it will return the same copy of function every time. But if you want to get a new copy on certain specific state change, then you just have to pass those dependency inside this dependency array. So you can see now this component has memoized and it will not go in any render cycle. But yeah, definitely it will go if I will do updates in that component itself. Okay, so that's a different thing. So we have covered two components so far. Sorry, two hooks so far. First of all, one is React dot memo, and another one is use callback. Okay, we have covered use callback as well. Now let me consider one more thing. Let's go to navbar and let me put three here. Okay, so as I am this the one console is component render console, and different and all other component are this function. Like let me show you where this component where we have put this console. Success. So I have console inside. Yeah. So I have console inside this function. Okay. Now you can see like I have put a value here. Okay. And if I will do certain things inside this component itself. So what is happening is this navbar component, like this calculate factorial is called inside navbar. If you see the hierarchy, let me show you. So we have called this navbar component here. Sorry, let me open factorial. Okay. So yeah. So what is happening here is whenever I am doing something here, so again this calculate factorial is rendered because it is not memoized, and the function that is calculating the factorial is again called on inside that component because that entire component is rendered. Okay, again sure, let me show you again. So if we have a big value like we have 5 here, so whenever I am doing certain side effects, so what is happening is this component is rendered and it is calling that factorial function again, and whatever we have inside our factorial function is again called, and that's why this console is coming again and again and again. Okay, we can memorize this as well. Right now I am simply calling this factorial function and there is no memorization is called. Okay, now let me show you something by which this calling of again and again function is stopped here. Let me show you. Let's call 5 again. And this time, when I am doing certain side effects, you can simply see all those factorial calls are stopped here. Let me show you again. Here I am just calling this function. There is no memorization is done. Okay. Let me show you again the structure of application. Calculate factorial is called here. Okay. And we have certain states. So whenever we will do any type of state update in these two states, these components will again called. Okay. So inside calculator factorial, I have a function, and what I am seeing here is whenever a state update is going on, so reconciliation is called and component is rendered, and whenever I am doing certain state update, that function is called again because that component is rendered and inside the component I have called the factorial function. So that function is also called again and again, and there is no need of using that, doing that, because I already have a value and I just have to show that. So in certain type of scenario, what I will do, I will do, I will memorize the value of that specific. What I will do, I will memorize the value of that specific callback or that specific function, and I have done this by using useMemo. So useMemo is a certain hook, and what it will do, it will memorize the calculated result of any function. What it will do, it will memorize the calculated result of any function, and it also have a dependency array. So here I have passed the number as dependency because every time when I'm changing that number, I want to call this function and hold on the result. So basically what it is doing is it is holding on the result of this factorial function inside it, and if the similar value is passed, it will return the similar result, and all those factorial call that was being called before now stopped. Please give me a thumbs up if you guys understand this.
Mm.
Okay. So
Yes, they understood.
okay. So yeah, this is what I want to explain you guys. Like we have covered, first of all, we have covered JavaScript memoization technique by using closure. Okay. Then we have covered React.memo, which is an HOC. Then we have covered use callback, that memo is a callback. And at last we have use memo, that memo is a value of a function. So we have covered all these things. So now please let me know if you guys have any query. Uh, then I will try to answer that query.
Yes, I think we do have few questions, ma'am.
Yeah.
Let me help you read it out. So, okay, for the question who are asking, will this video be available on YouTube for later views? Yes, we will have the recorded version of this later, like let's say next week by Friday or something. But till then, you can just have a look at our live that is happening, and I'll share that in the community. So please do join the community, and you can have the access to all the recordings, and you can also connect with man personally over there. So yeah, that's about it. And should we memorize? Okay, the question from
Yeah, I have
Nicholas.
seen. I have seen. I have seen. So
Yeah,
yeah,
should we
let me answer this
memorize?
question. Yeah, as I have already told you, memoization is comes with a certain cost. So you cannot memorize every function. Okay, memoization comes with a certain cost. So you have to be smart enough to decide what we have to memorize. We cannot do memorize everything. It will negatively impact on our application.
Yes. And the second question, he's also asking if
Can we check?
also if component is rendering only static data, then it is good practice to memorize it.
Definitely. Yeah. If you know your component is getting static data, or you know, like a nav bar will have similar type of property whenever you are on same links. So certain type of component needs to be memoized because you already know either they will have static data or they will get the updated data on 1/10 times. So you can simply wrap them inside memoization.
Yes. Yes.
Next
And the
question
next
is,
one.
can we check reconciliation on dicing process or the working of virtual DOM in our browser? So I think there is no direct way to do this, but yeah, you can put console log on each and every component, and that will provide you an insight of how many components are rendering how many times. So I think the best way is to use console log on each and every component while you are doing certain type of component performance tuning. So you will just see just like I have done. So each console will let you know whether the component is going in reconciliation process and rendering or not. So best way is to use console on each and every component while you are trying to do performance tuning.
Yes. I think we have one question that is off topic, and Ibrahim
Yeah.
says, "Thank you for your explanation so far. It is well assimilated. I work for a fintech
I work
company,
for
and
a
I want
fintech
to ask
company
how
about
can we ensure and
how
implement
can
security
implement
and avoid theft
security
from the
with
front end."
that from the. So,
That's interesting.
Ibrahim, I just say this is a kind of a topic that will cover around another 1 hour. So right now I'm not able to pick this topic, but yeah, there are certain things that can be achieved, and I will try to take another session on this. I will get some data and I will prepare some code, and will try to pick this topic in coming sessions.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for the idea, Ibrahim, and we'll make sure that we'll have Mayank for the same topic again. Yeah.
Next question
Uh,
is, can you please explain downside of Amazon? Yeah. So if I will take the example of that JavaScript object, okay. So basically, whenever we are doing some kind of memoization, so closures are involved in that, okay, and objects or certain types of things are also involved. So our object will grow whenever there is a new value comes in. So on a certain point, that object will grow and grow and grow. So this is the downside of memoization. That's why I have told you memorization comes with a certain cost. So you have to be smart enough whenever you are doing a memorization, because you cannot memorize each and everything. Okay. Can we memorize React router links as they remain mostly same? So there is no purpose of memorizing routing, because we have to memorize components. Because on router also, whenever we are calling a new route, then component is one component is unmounted and new component is mounted. Okay. So there is no use of doing memorization on the routing itself. You have to memorize the component.
yes. I'll just have a quick look at the live chat, Mayank, and I'll let you know if you have any questions from there. Okay, so we have one question which says, what happens if you forget to specify dependencies for use memo or use callback?
Okay. So let's say, let me I have memorized the factorial function that is called. Okay. So if I will not pass the dependency, then it will return me the same result regardless of whatever value I'm passing to get the factorial. It will
Hmm.
just act like a component did mount, just like we have a use effect with a blank dependency. It will not being called whenever I am passing new value. So dependency are important here.
Yes. We have one question in the chat. Where is the memorized data store when using React? I mean, where exactly is cached data store? Also, the first example of the closure, what if you remove return statement from the function?
Okay. So basically, if you talk about memoization, which is happening in React, so under the hood, objects and closures are used to memorize things. Under the hood, objects and closures are used. And if you don't return the function, if you do remove the return statement from that closure, then it will not act as a closure. Because the
Yes.
definition of closure is a function inside a function, and inside function can use the lexical scope. Still, you are returning the function, but still it can use its lexical scope. So it will not work then, because it will not a kind of a closure.
Yeah. We have one question. I think this is the last question. So it says, when should you avoid using use memo and use callbacks in a React component?
Okay, so we have to avoid these things when you know like your component is getting dynamic data which change most of the time. Because memories for doing memorization, you have to make sure your component are either static or either they are getting change properties on 1/10 of all the render cycle that is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there is no purpose of doing memorization for a component that is getting uh, dynamic data on every time. Then in that case, your request will be simply ignored. Still, if you do a memorization, then the request to memorize the component will simply ignored by reconciliation process.
Okay, I think that was the last question from LinkedIn Live. And one question I think we're getting repeatedly is, can we get the recording of this meeting? Yes, you can get the recording of this meeting. We will share the live recording in the Discord community. So you can just go ahead and be a part of the Discord community, and we'll share all the recordings, including the recording of the session. If you want a complete recording, the edited recording would be posted by next week. So before that, you can access the live recording of the session, and you can just go ahead and be a part of Discord community over there, and we'll just share all the insights, and you can also connect with Mayank personally over there, and you can ask any questions regarding the same topic. Yes, we're going to take few questions, and we just last minute questions, guys. So if you have any questions, please drop in as soon, because I think otherwise we're kind of done with the topic discussing, and I think we're almost done with taking up the questions. Okay, we have one question. Mayank.
Yes, please let me know.
Okay, so it is, it's not a question, it's a feedback. It was a great session. Thanks, Mayank, learned a lot from this. Please try to schedule session on Redux Toolkit in future. Sure, that's a good.
Okay, sure. I'm already planning to take a session on Redux for now, but for Redux Toolkit, yeah, I have to prepare myself because I have worked a lot on React, Redux, and Thunk, and Toolkit is a kind of new for me also. But yeah, I will try to create a good example on that, and then we will have a session on Toolkit as well.
Yes, I think that was the last question, and I think we can end this session, guys. Let me know if there's any last minute questions. We'd be more than happy to take up the questions. We are right on time, so I can cater a little time for the questions too.
Okay, there is one more question showing to me. Is the data in use context memoized? So, Vinayak, I am not sure because I haven't used context so much. I am kind of a Redux guy. I had used most of the time Redux with Thunk, so I am not sure about this. I have to check this thing. So right now I am not able to answer it. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, that was the last question, and this brings us to the end of this wonderful session. I would like to thank each one of you for joining us, especially joining us on the long weekend just to cater your time for learning. And I hope you stood on expectations and you had some or the other takeaway from the session. And please fill out the feedback form in the link. I've also dropped it in the LinkedIn Live and also the Zoom chats. So we would love to know what sessions that you want us to cover in the future, and what sessions you want us to get Mayank again to cover in the future, right? So that will really help us to understand what you want, and we can bring amazing
Yes.
speakers like Mayank on board.
Yeah, definitely. It will help me to create a good code or slides as well. Like if I get a proper feedback, so I will try my best to create slides and code next time.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So we will look forward for your post on LinkedIn along with your key learnings and takeaways. Do not forget to tag Mayank, tag Recro, and tag me in your post, and we'll be more than happy to see your learnings and takeaways from the session. Also, thank you so much, Mayank, for joining us. Thank you for taking out time and sharing such an insightful information, and making the most out of the webinar today. Thank you for joining us today. So before we end this session, I have a few announcements to make. We have created a community for developers called Rebase on Discord. It is a closed community just for the working professionals of 1+ year, and you can unleash your true potential over there. You can get to connect with experts like Mayank over there, and Mayank is also one of our contributor in the community mentor. So if you're someone with 1+ years of experience, you can get a chance to connect with the fellow developers, get career opportunities, and ask for help. The link of the Discord community is in the chat. Please go ahead and join the Discord community. I'll share the link of the recording over there, and you can have the access of all the previous webinars of Recro talks over there. And the feedback form is in the chat, guys. So please go ahead and fill out the feedback form and let us know what's something that you love the most from the session. And if you have any more questions, you can connect to Mayank on LinkedIn. He's very active on LinkedIn. And I'm going to drop his LinkedIn handle in the chat. So go ahead and connect with him, and he'll be more than happy to help you out with your queries and challenges. If you're exploring career opportunities, Recro is hiring passionate developers. Check out the current openings at Recro. And if your friends or colleagues or any of your family members are looking out for the opening, we'll make sure that we'll place you in the 8 startups of the country. So do check out the Recro career page, and we'll make sure that you'll find something amazing, and we'll place you in the top companies of the country. To stay updated with such events, follow us on social media and follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. And do not miss on our updates on our webinars that we usually do on every month. And that's all for this session, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope to see you in the next
Thank you
session.
for joining.
Take care, stay safe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayank.